Welcome back to BNB Spoilers channel. Today, we're diving deep into the tangled web of drama that's about to unfold in The Bold and the Beautiful. Relationships will be tested, secrets will be exposed, and power dynamics will shift in ways no one saw coming. If you thought recent events were explosive, brace yourself, because what's about to happen will shake the very foundation of the Forrester, Logan, and Finnegan families. Finn's life-altering secret: will the truth destroy his marriage? John Finn Finnegan has always prided himself on being a man of integrity, but the weight of the secret he's been carrying is starting to eat away at him. Every time he looks at Steffi, the woman he vowed to love and protect, he feels a pang of guilt so sharp it's nearly unbearable. He knows that keeping secrets in a marriage, especially one as fragile as theirs, can be fatal. And yet, the truth he's withholding is so earth-shattering that revealing it might end their love story forever. Finn has recently discovered that he is the biological father of Luna Nozawa, a revelation that has completely upended his understanding of his past. But that's not even the most damning part of it. The mother of his child isn't just any woman, she's connected to a nightmare that still haunts Steffi to this day. She was once held captive, tormented, and nearly murdered, and now Finn must break the news that ties him to that darkness. Every moment he hesitates, the stakes get higher. Steffi has never been one to handle shocking news with calm rationality. Her fiery personality and deep-seated fears of betrayal mean that Finn isn't just risking an argument, he's risking losing her entirely. And given Steffi's past relationships, she isn't the type to simply forgive and forget. The irony isn't lost on Finn. He's been by Steffi's side through some of her worst moments, fighting for her, defending her against outside forces, even standing against his own mother when necessary. And yet, now he is the very person bringing chaos into their lives. The mere thought of how she might react sends shivers down his spine. There's another terrifying reality lurking in Finn's mind: Steffi has never had a problem cutting people out of her life when they've betrayed her. If she decides that Finn's past is too much for her to handle, their marriage could be over in the blink of an eye. He knows her well enough to predict the outcome: first comes the anger, then the accusations, and finally, the dramatic exit. The real question is whether or not he will have the strength to fight for their future once the truth is out in the open. Hope Logan's impossible dilemma, Carter Walton's request, shakes her to the core. While Finn wrestles with his secret, Hope Logan finds herself in an entirely different crisis, one that threatens to break her spirit. For so long, she believed that Carter Walton was someone she could trust. He was a voice of reason, a stabilizing force when everything else seemed to be falling apart. But now, he's putting her in an impossible position, and Hope is starting to wonder if she ever really knew him at all. Carter's conscience is spiraling out of control, and the result is a shocking demand: he wants to make things right, no matter the cost. And making things right, in his mind, means apologizing to Ridge Forrester and, unbelievably, asking Hope to apologize to Steffi Forrester. For Hope, this is nothing short of a betrayal. After everything Steffi has done to her, after all the manipulation and heartbreak, how could Carter possibly expect her to bow down and admit fault? The very idea is insulting. Hope has spent years being treated as the lesser woman in comparison to Steffi, constantly having to fight for what little happiness she's been able to grasp. And now, Carter wants her to hand Steffi the ultimate victory by apologizing? It's unthinkable. But Carter is unrelenting. His guilt, compounded by years of poor decisions and lingering regrets, is pushing him toward a path of absolution. He believes that this is the only way to heal old wounds, to rebuild bridges that have long since burned to the ground. And he doesn't just want to mend his own relationships, he wants Hope to do the same. Hope, however, sees things differently. To her, Steffi has been a catalyst for so much of the turmoil in her life. From their childhood rivalry to their never-ending battle over Liam Spencer, Steffi has always played a role in Hope's suffering. And yet, somehow, Hope is always the one expected to be the bigger person, to take the high road. She's tired of it. But the worst part isn't just Carter's request, it's the sinking feeling that he might actually be turning on her. Hope has always counted on him as an ally, someone who truly understood her struggles. But now, it feels like he's siding with the very people who have made her life a living hell. She can't help but wonder, if Carter is willing to ask this of her, what else will he demand in the future? Carter's moral reckoning, is he trying to save himself? Carter's newfound guilt doesn't just stem from recent events, it's been festering for years. He has made countless decisions that have led him to this point, and now, he's desperate to clean the slate. His request to Hope isn't just about making peace, it's about easing his own conscience. Deep down, he knows that his past actions have caused harm. His entanglements, betrayals, and misguided loyalties have left a trail of damage, and he sees this as his last chance to make amends. But what he doesn't realize is that in his attempt to fix things, he may actually be making them worse. Hope isn't just another pawn in his game of redemption. She's a woman who has fought tirelessly for respect, for love, for stability. And by asking her to apologize to Steffi, he's invalidating everything she's worked so hard to overcome. Yet, Carter can't shake the feeling that this is the right thing to do. He wants to hand back control, to take responsibility, to seek forgiveness. The problem is, not everyone is ready to forgive, and some wounds may never truly heal. What happens next? The stage is set for some of the most dramatic confrontations we've seen in The Bold and the Beautiful in a long time. Finn stands on the precipice of a confession that could destroy his marriage, while Hope grapples with the feeling of betrayal from someone she once trusted. Will Finn finally summon the courage to tell Steffi the truth, or will his fear of losing her keep him silent? And if he does confess, will Steffi react with the fiery rage he expects, or will she shock everyone by showing a rare moment of understanding? As for Hope, the battle lines have been drawn. Will she give in to Carter's demand, or will she take a stand against the idea of apologizing to Steffi? And if she refuses, will Carter's loyalty to her remain intact, or will this be the breaking point that changes everything? One thing is for sure, nothing will ever be the same again. Next, we're diving into one of the most talked about developments in The Bold and the Beautiful, Liam Spencer's relentless interference in Steffi Forrester's marriage. Fans have been buzzing with strong opinions about his latest antics, and the drama is only heating up. Let's break down what's happening, what it all means, and what the future might hold for Steffi, Finn, and Liam. Fans have had enough. Social media reacts to Liam's meddling. The internet has been set ablaze with opinions about Liam Spencer's latest moves, and it's safe to say that most fans are not thrilled with his behavior. Social media has become a battleground for frustrated viewers, many of whom believe that Liam's only purpose in life is to interfere with Steffi's happiness. One fan bluntly stated, "Liam needs to mind his own business and leave Steffi alone." This tells me that without Steffi, Liam has no storyline. Maybe Luna can give Liam something to drink with her own special mixture. The comment, dripping with sarcasm, highlights the general sentiment that Liam has nothing to do unless he's causing trouble in Steffi's life. Another viewer pointed out, why does Steffi have to have help pushing Finn? If she wants a divorce, she can get a lawyer and file herself. I would think she has grounds for it. What's the big deal? This suggests a growing frustration with the way the writers are handling Steffi's character, making her seem like she needs external pressure to make decisions that should be her own. One particularly biting comment read, "Liam should mind his own business and stay out of Steffi's marriage." He needs to get a life. This sentiment is echoed by many who feel that Liam is simply incapable of moving on and allowing Steffi to live her life without his constant interference. And then, of course, there was this cutting remark, "Please, give Liam to Steffi. That is who she deserves." Because we all know that Ivy is also in town, and Liam will never be true to his side chick, Steffi. This one is particularly interesting because it brings up Liam's history of bouncing between women, suggesting that if Steffi does end up with him, she'll only be setting herself up for more heartbreak. Liam's hidden agenda: is he really trying to help Steffi? Liam Spencer has long been known for his indecisiveness, but lately, his behavior has taken a sharp turn toward manipulation. He claims to be looking out for Steffi's best interests, but is that really the case? Or is he simply trying to push her back into his arms? His latest crusade revolves around Finn and Luna. The revelation that Finn is Luna's biological father has rocked the Forrester family, and Liam is using it as a weapon. He insists that Finn's connection to Luna's mother, a woman with a questionable past, makes him dangerous. According to Liam, Steffi and her children should be kept as far away from Finn as possible. But is this really about safety, or is Liam seizing the perfect opportunity to dismantle Steffi's marriage? After all, if Steffi leaves Finn, she'll be emotionally vulnerable. And who would be right there, ready to swoop in? Liam, of course. It's a classic move, straight out of his playbook. Steffi's dilemma: will she give in to the pressure? Steffi is no stranger to complicated relationships, and this situation is no exception. She loves Finn, but she can't ignore the doubts creeping into her mind. Is he really someone she can trust? Or is Liam right? Could Finn's family ties eventually put her and her children in danger? It doesn't help that Liam is relentless. He's in her ear at every turn, planting seeds of doubt, reminding her of every mistake Finn has made, and subtly suggesting that life would be easier without him. He's not outright saying, "Leave Finn and be with me," but the implication is always there. If Steffi does decide to end her marriage, the big question becomes, what's next? Will she take some time for herself, or will she immediately fall back into old patterns and end up in Liam's arms? And if that happens, will she finally see Liam for what he is, a man who thrives on keeping her tethered to him, even when it's not what's best for her? What's next for Liam, Finn, and Steffi? This love triangle has been simmering for months, but it's about to reach its boiling point. If Steffi does leave Finn, Liam will undoubtedly be there to pick up the pieces. But what happens when he inevitably disappoints her again? After all, history has shown that Liam's loyalty is about as stable as quicksand. On the other hand, if Steffi decides to fight for her marriage, she'll have to find a way to shut Liam out, something she's never been particularly good at. Finn will also have to prove himself, not just as a husband, but as someone who can stand up to the endless drama that comes with being part of Steffi's world. Meanwhile, Luna's presence continues to be a wild card. As more details about her past emerge, her connection to Finn may become even more complicated, further influencing Steffi's decision. Will she ultimately see Finn as a victim of circumstance, or will she decide that his past is too much to handle? Final thoughts: Liam's true colors are showing. Liam Spencer is playing a dangerous game. He's disguising his manipulations as concern, but fans see right through him. He claims to want the best for Steffi, but if that were true, he would respect her marriage instead of actively working to tear it apart. At this point, Steffi has a choice to make. Does she continue allowing Liam to have power over her, or does she finally cut the cord and stand by Finn? Either way, her decision will have ripple effects that will change the bold and the beautiful forever. One thing is certain: the drama is far from over. Next, we delve into a heated confrontation that rocked the bold and the beautiful. What started as a battle of emotions turned into a clash of power, betrayal, and unresolved grievances. While the boardroom of Forrester Creations has seen many disputes, this time, the tension wasn't about business, it was about Carter Walton. Hope Logan and Ridge Forrester found themselves at odds over him, forcing Carter into a position he never anticipated. Let's break down the layers of this explosive episode and what it means for the characters moving forward. Carter's impossible position, torn between loyalty and love. Carter Walton found himself at the center of a storm he never saw coming. As much as he tried to remain a neutral force, the battle between Hope and Ridge placed him squarely in the line of fire. He stood there, unable to utter a single word, his mind racing with guilt, regret, and confusion. Every emotion played out on his face, but he couldn't bring himself to interrupt the war of words unfolding in front of him. The weight of recent events had been taking a toll on Carter, and his silence spoke volumes. The man who was once so sure of himself, so decisive in matters of law and business, was now paralyzed by indecision. He had been reeling from the decisions he had made, choices that had placed him in direct conflict with his closest allies. Yet, when the moment came to defend himself, he stood motionless, allowing Hope to take control of the situation. The pressure on Carter will only intensify in the coming days. Hope assured him that their relationship could withstand the turmoil, but deep down, even Carter seemed to doubt her words. He had already lost so much, his friendships, his credibility, and perhaps even his own sense of self. How much more could he afford to sacrifice? Hope Logan's power move, a bold declaration of control. Hope Logan is no stranger to conflict, but this time, she didn't back down. When Ridge Forrester challenged her authority, she doubled down, making it clear that she was the one calling the shots. She stunned Ridge by laying down the terms. He and Eric Forrester were free to return to Forrester Creations, but only under one condition: they would have to accept demoted positions. It was a bold, almost ruthless move, but Hope wasn't about to let Ridge dictate the future of the company. She knew she had the upper hand, and she wielded it with confidence. However, this wasn't just about business, it was about proving a point. For years, the Forrester family had dismissed her, treated her as an outsider, despite her deep ties to the dynasty. Now, she was in a position of power, and she was determined to make them feel the weight of it. Still, Hope's bravado wasn't without consequence. While she had secured Carter's allegiance, at least for now, she had also alienated one of the most powerful figures in the Forrester family. Ridge was never one to take a loss lightly, and Hope had just painted a massive target on her back. The question now is whether she can hold on to the power she seized or if Ridge will find a way to turn the tide against her. Ridge Forrester's emotional outburst, betrayal, runs deep. For Ridge, this confrontation wasn't just about business, it was deeply personal. He had spent decades watching over his family, ensuring the legacy of Forrester Creations remained intact. To see Carter, someone he once trusted, align himself with Hope was a betrayal he could hardly stomach. Emotions ran high as Ridge lashed out, reminding Hope of every instance of betrayal her family had inflicted upon us over the years. He didn't hold back, calling out the hypocrisy of her actions while defending his own. To Ridge, this wasn't just about Carter, it was about the long-standing war between the Forresters and the Logans, a battle that had been raging for generations. Yet, despite his fiery words, Ridge's frustration masked a deeper truth: he had hoped for reconciliation. His earlier embrace of Carter was a gesture of goodwill, an attempt to mend what had been broken. But as soon as Hope entered the room, all of that goodwill was thrown out the window. The argument escalated, tensions boiled over, and before long, any hope of a truce was shattered. Hope versus Ridge, a war with no winners. The conflict between Hope and Ridge wasn't just a disagreement, it was a battle for dominance. Both refused to back down, each believing they were in the right. Hope viewed Ridge as the symbol of an outdated dynasty, a man clinging to a past that no longer existed. Ridge, on the other hand, saw Hope as an opportunist, someone who had no right to dictate the future of Forrester creations. Neither was willing to budge, and as the argument reached its peak, it became clear that this fight was far from over. The power struggle between them would continue to shape the company's future, with Carter stuck in the middle, forced to choose a side. The moment that changed everything, Carter's bloody hand. Amidst the verbal warfare, one unexpected moment stood out: Carter's injury. Hope's initial shock at seeing him wounded was genuine, but it also served as a reminder of just how much Carter had been through. Ridge, despite his anger, had instinctively offered to help bandage Carter's hand, a brief but telling moment of concern amidst the chaos. The significance of this injury extends beyond the physical wound. It symbolizes the internal battle Carter is facing, the pain of being torn between his loyalty to Ridge and his growing bond with Hope. The blood on his hand was more than just a surface-level injury, it was a representation of the deeper scars he was carrying, the ones that wouldn't heal so easily. What comes next? Carter's fate hangs in the balance. Carter Walton may have stood by Hope during this latest confrontation, but the cracks in his resolve are beginning to show. Sooner or later, he will have to make a definitive choice, one that could alter the course of his life forever. Will he continue to support Hope, even if it means permanently severing ties with Ridge and the Forresters? Or will he realize that his place is not by Hope's side, but with the family he has always considered his own? Hope, meanwhile, has won this battle, but the war is far from over. Ridge is not a man who forgives easily, and with Eric Forrester likely to back him up, Hope may soon find herself outnumbered. And then there's Ridge himself, who must now decide how far he's willing to go to reclaim what he believes is rightfully his. Will he strike back against Hope with full force, or will he find another way to regain control of Forrester Creations? One thing is for certain, this story is far from finished. With tensions running high and loyalties shifting, the next chapter of The Bold and the Beautiful is bound to be more explosive than ever. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest B&B spoilers and analysis. What do you think? Will Carter remain by Hope's side, or will he ultimately choose Ridge? Let us know in the comments below.